Hi everyone and welcome to the 2010 Ford Ironman Coeur in beautiful northern Idaho, and it is absolutely gorgeous here today, and it will be all the way through the weekend. This show has been brought to you by Ford. Drive one. And joining me in studio right now, none other than Lisa Bentley, the 11-time Ironman champion. And Lisa, you had an extremely long day and long night last night, didn't you?
I had the Ironman day of travel. It started at 7:30 in the morning, and I landed here in Coeur d'Alene at 12:30 at night. But Mike Riley wasn't there to say, you are an Ironman. But I made it here, and I'm ready for a weekend of Ironman.
You're an Ironman traveller. That's what you are.
I am an Ironman traveller.
Well, anyway, you got up nice and early this morning, went over the run course. What were your first impressions?
Breathtaking, really. I don't know if you could find a nicer run course on the Ironman circuit.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely breathtaking over here this weekend. So we did check out the course for you guys at home. We've been coming here quite a few years, and it is a spectacular course. So check out the Course Explorer, brought to you by Ford. The 2010 Ford Ironman Coeur d'Alene here in northern Idaho's swim course is 2 loops, 2.4 miles. We're heading out in a counterclockwise direction. Beautiful temperatures in the water here in the 60-degree area. As they make their way out to the first turning buoy, quite a ways out, then you do a left-hand turn, 100 yards over to the other turning buoy, then you come all the way into the finish line, go underneath the finish arch there, and then run back into the water, swim diagonally over to the first swimming buoy, and then repeat the course.
Well, a swim course with this big body of water, we never know how warm it's going to be. Last few years it's been pretty cold. And a lot of times in the mornings, the wind will be coming out of the south and it'll be kind of choppy. So the swim can be challenging.
The bike course comes right out of Coeur d'Alene Lake there and heads straight up onto Sherman Avenue. As they make their way out onto the first part, they'll be riding around Coeur d'Alene Lake Drive, which is absolutely beautiful and adjacent to the Centennial Trail, which is one of the most famous trails in northern Idaho. They'll do a U-turn around about 7 miles up the road and come all the way back into town, going past the beautiful Coeur d'Alene Golf Course. Then they'll make their way out on the Government Way, out onto 4th Street, and then the most beautiful part of the bike course, in my opinion, when they go out through English Point on Hayden Lake.
I say the most challenging is getting out of town and on going around Hayden back way out that way, just because there's so many people here in the beginning, and then you go out there and it's kind of lonely besides the other competitors. After
they exit Hayden Lake Road, they'll get up onto Dodd Road and eventually get out onto Hudlow and Ohio Match Road, where they'll do a U-turn and retrace their steps all the way back onto Hayden Lake Drive and down onto Lakeview Drive. When they get to Lakeview Drive, they'll be going up Honeysuckle Avenue back on the Government Way. They'll return back into town and do a little out and back on the 95 or the Northwest Boulevard back down to the start-finish line. They'll return for a second lap. This is 2 laps, 112 miles are the total here on that 2-loop bike course.
Once you get through all the area here in town, which looks pretty busy and a lot of turns, outside of that, once you get onto the open roads, it's a beautiful countryside, and so eager to get out there.
The 2010 Ford Ironman Coeur d'Alene run course is a doozy. You start at the start-finish line here at the Coeur d'Alene race, go out onto Rosenberry Drive, you go out half a mile, you do a U-turn, come all the way back into the transition area. That'll total up to 1 mile on the run.
It's probably one of the flatter runs of the courses I've done. There's basically just one hill in each loop right at the turnaround. Otherwise, it's pretty much dead flat.
And then they'll head out on Lakeside Avenue, up onto Sherman Avenue, and then head out onto East Lakeshore Drive. Now, they do a couple of little ins and outs around Lost Avenue, Ash Avenue, Young Avenue, wind their way all the way around the Coeur d'Alene Golf Course again, same as what they did onto the bike course. Then they'll head out onto the Centennial Trail, which is absolutely beautiful on that trail in the afternoon, and some of the late arrivees will be getting a good look at a sunset right across Lake Coeur d'Alene. They'll go all the way out to the Lake Coeur d'Alene Drive, they'll do a U-turn and make their way back in for 13.1 miles.
Run looks somewhat challenging, which is good. I like a hard run course, so I think it's got a good little bit of climbing there that hopefully will separate us all out. So
This again is a 2-loop course onto the run, and then they'll head back into town the second time to the finish line where they'll await that coveted finishers medal. Absolutely beautiful. That is the Course Explorer for the Ford Ironman Coeur d'Alene. Top 5 things to look out for this weekend, Lisa. So we talked a little bit about it, but just get out there and enjoy the crowd. The crowd here downtown is absolutely spectacular. There's thousands of people lining the shores, from 7 o'clock in the morning and 6:25 when our pros start. But obviously 7 o'clock in the morning, the crowd is huge.
The sun's up early here around 4:30, and the crowds will be there, and they'll be cheering our athletes. And you have to soak that up. It gets you through the day. So absolutely enjoy the crowd. That is number 1.
Okay, so number 2 on the list, Lisa, was hydration. So I think it's very important to stay hydrated this weekend too.
It's going to be beautiful weather. It's going to be warm, and hydration is key. You can even start hydrating right on the swim because the water is crystal clear, beautiful. Take a few gulps and start the hydration. But of course, there's going to be incredible aid stations, as there always are on the Ironman course, with wonderful Coeur d'Alene volunteers handing plenty of water and power bar drink to you to keep you fueled. But keep drinking, stay hydrated.
Yes, absolutely. We love the volunteers out there. Okay, number 3 out there, we're going to conserve a little bit of energy on the bike course because we do have 2 bike loops, and it starts out very, very flat, goes around, alongside the Centennial Trail around Lake Coeur d'Alene, but once it gets out to Hayden Lake, it starts to go up and down, so I would imagine that the middle part of each lap is going to have to be one of those, conserving spaces, so what do you think?
Absolutely. Out of the gates, you've got to be careful. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of adrenaline. There's so many spectators out there cheering for you. Soak it in, but hold back a bit on that flat bit because you're going to need to find those extra gears when you're going through the rolling bits on lap number 2.
Yes, and again on the run. So let's talk about the energy on the run, conserving or rhythm. I mean, what do you think? I think it's all about rhythm, right?
I found it really tough to find my rhythm this morning when I was running because you're kind of tiki-touring throughout little neighborhoods. You're on open roads, then you're sort of turning here and there. And I thought, the rhythm athletes are going to be at the advantage of who can get into the rhythm after they meander through those different neighborhoods. It's all about rhythm, keeping the momentum up, keeping one foot in front of the other.
And number 5, we've got the Wheaties Motivational Mile, coming up on the run course right toward the end. We think around about mile 23. So the Wheaties Motivational Mile is going to be fantastic. They'll be able to have a little bit of, a look at the screen out there, and some people can get out there and write something for them, to help them stay motivated and get them to the finish line. So the Wheaties Motivational Mile, it's pretty exciting to see that, isn't it?
It is. It's great fun, too, when you're out there, you're towards the end of your race, you need that little pickup, and there's nothing like that Wheaties Mile to get you through that and to see those inspirational sayings from your family and reading the ones for other people as well. I know I would race Ironman and sometimes say, who is that guy that keeps getting all these little cheer markers all throughout the course? So stay tuned for that Wheaties Motivational Mile. It will really give you a good boost.
All right, let's go over to the men's right now and start talking about our pro men. So this race has a really good lineup of men. Wearing number 1 this weekend is going to be Tom Evans. He was, I think it was late last year, he became a father. Twins, and at 41 years old, and now he's 42, so we'll see Tom Evans going around, and he knows how to rock and roll, doesn't he?
He is so fast. I remember when he did his first Ironman Canada, and we didn't know who he was. He was this dentist, and he's leading the bike, and he's ahead of Peter Reed, and we couldn't figure it out, and then he's come on to be a 4-time Ironman champion.
I come from a swimming background. I like to swim near the front because Penticton doesn't have the pool, and my swim training has been a little lackluster. I'm going to be a bit more conservative. I'll try to just swim in the main pack, whatever that may be, and try to conserve as much energy as possible for the remainder of the day. So I'm looking for a swim that's a little bit slower than usual.
Yes, Tom Evans is definitely one to look out for. My favourite going into the race is Andy Potts from the United States. Andy, in his first Ironman, he finished 7th in the Ford Ironman World Championship. Last year he was 9th place in the Ford Ironman World Championship, and I think that this is his first Ironman race outside of Kona. So it'll be very interesting to see him going around.
He is one heck of an athlete. I mean, he really resembles you a lot, Greg, and I know you're way too humble to admit that. But you can pay me later, that's right. But World 70.3 champion in 2007. He's got the jets. He's very, very fast. Just had his 2nd baby born this year. So he has that little bit extra motivation behind him. First Ironman outside of Hawaii. So I mean, I'm looking for him to be leading out of the swim, off the bike, and then he's a great, great runner.
I'd say my strengths probably line up as swimming, running, then cycling. I'm a bigger guy, so my weight plays against me a little bit in the run, and people see me as just a big engine because I can swim. And have a pretty large chest cavity, so they're like, oh, you're a big guy, you probably have struggle on the run. But then when they see me actually running, it's like, oh, he can run. He's pretty decent. And I think I've surprised a few people with my running, but I know the work that I put in. So when the results show up, they're always nice when they're positive results. But I'm very rarely surprised by them because of what I've been able to do in training.
Okay, and over to Luke Bell. I mean, Luke Bell from Australia, he showed us lots of form and promise as a young guy, as a 25-year-old kid, out of Melbourne, Australia, and he finished 5th in the Ford Ironman World Championship. He hasn't won an Ironman yet. He's been second plenty of times, and maybe this is the race that he's looking for. He wanted to go to Ironman Japan. It got cancelled, so he's been trying to fill in his schedule, but he's here looking for his first Ironman victory.
And he's a nice, consistent athlete. Good on the swim, good on the bike, good on the run. Was frustrated after Ford Ironman St. George. And so he's back here. Hopefully he can put it together. Ironman is very difficult. You can be a great swimmer, biker, runner, but it's putting them all in sequence, one after another, figuring out nutrition and mental. And hopefully Luke Bell can get it together in this race.
I think the course itself, that last quarter with the hills, I think it's going to take its toll. The guys that go spend too many bickies or too much gas early on, come the marathon, we may all get off the bike as 10 guys all together, but we'll definitely see towards halfway of that marathon of who's spent too much gas early on and who's got a bit in reserve to kick on.
Yes, and also multiple Ironman champion Chris McDonald from Australia. He is the Ford Ironman Louisville, Ford Ironman Wisconsin champion as well. He'll be in the race and always a threat in any race that he goes in. And also Matt Lieto. I want to talk a little bit about the brother of Chris Lieto. Everyone says the brother of, but we all know that Chris Lieto is a multiple Ironman champion, second place in last year's Ford Ironman World Championship. But Matt Lieto has been showing a lot of form. He lost 85 pounds to become a professional triathlete. He was third place just last month in Honu in Hawaii on the 70.3 race over there, and Matt Lieto is a little bit of a dark horse in my eyes for this race.
Like his brother, he possesses an amazing bike split. Unlike his brother, he's had to lose all that weight to get where he is. And I think it's really neat. Oftentimes we think, you're slim or you're fit and you're just that way. Well, he got himself that way by losing the weight. So he really represents almost the true Ironman, someone who's changed their life and come back and join sport. And that's what we love to see in Ironman is people who find sport and introduce it to their life and bring themselves so much happiness. And here he is now racing pro.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, the masculine Michael Lovato, Disco Danny. Call him whatever you want. He's a disco dancer, mate. This guy can really rock and roll, and he lights up the dance floor. But I tell you what, he won this race, and he won it in a very, very good time. And Michael Lovato, he's usually on the other side of the television screen as well. But I tell you what, Michael's got a good shot at this race as well, and he's very motivated.
Super motivated. He has one of the fastest times on the course, third fastest time in history on this course. Great bike split. He wanted to race earlier this year, got a bit of an injury, so very motivated to come back here. He's listened to his body. He's here to race. Going to have a great one.
Yes, exactly. Over to our women right now. So Gina Crawford from New Zealand. She's won the Ford Ironman Wisconsin before and some other races as well. She's won the Bonita Ironman New Zealand, and she's been a very formidable racer, over the last few years in the Ironman circuit. Taken down Joe Lawn, in New Zealand was probably the biggest victory of her career thus far. So Gina's looking to have a good race. She wasn't so flashy down in St. George. So I hope the the form's coming back to her a little bit. What are your thoughts?
Anything can happen on the day. That's the thing that everyone, spectators, have to realize is Ironman is a one-shot day. If you have a little bit of a bug, just not feeling right, and you're down by 2 or 3%, that's the victory gone. That's 10 minutes over a 9-hour day. So whatever happened to Gina Crawford in Ford Ironman St. George, hopefully that's behind her, and she's back here. She's got the resume of all the athletes, but there's a lot of women going to be nipping at her heels looking for an Ironman victory.
Yes, and one of those girls is made in Montana from Missoula, Missoula, just across the state line from here, only just miles up the road, who came out and did a lot of training on this course, and she's very, very excited about going around. That's Lindsay Corbin. She's also had a top 10 result at the Ford Ironman World Championship a couple of years ago, and she's looking to regain that form of 2 years ago. So Lindsay Corbin, she's in great shape, and she's also my pre-race favourite.
Yeah, I love Lindsay Corbin. She's got a big old heart. She really puts in the work. She goes through the process. She was 5th at Ironman Hawaii, and what happens to so many athletes is you have that breakthrough in Hawaii, and then I don't know, maybe you work harder and you think, if I work harder, I'll get faster and I'll be on the podium and then I'm going to win. And you get caught up into that and you start getting disappointed with results. So last year wasn't her best year, as she would say it, but it's a growing year. Sometimes you need those little setbacks. But she finished off 2009 with a 2nd at Ford Ironman Arizona, and I really think she's putting it together. If everything goes in her direction, mental, nutritional, and physical, look for Lindsay to be nipping at that first place finish.
Yeah.
It's very close to Missoula, so it's easy to come here and train on the course, but I think more importantly to me, I have a lot of friends that I've trained with and a lot of the community of Missoula that's racing as well. And so it's fun, to be able to race along your training partners and then their families and their support crew. And then also being in Coeur d'Alene a lot, I've made a lot of friends with people in the community. And so I have a strong sense of, belonging here and then both also at home in Missoula. So it really is a joy.
Desiree Ficker had a setback about 18 months ago when she lost her mother to cancer, and now she's back on top of it. She's getting some results again. She went to South Africa about a year ago, got a win in the 70.3. Her results are coming right back up to the top. She was 2nd place in the Ford Ironman World Championship. So she's got the credentials, but she hasn't shown us the form over the last couple of years. So I'm excited to see her race again. And this girl knows how to bike and run. I mean, her swimming's coming along as well. She's training with a new group now, and she's doing awfully well. So your thoughts on Desi?
Well, ironically, she's one of the best runners, really, in the world. She was 10th at the New York City Marathon. Marathon straight up, no biking, no swimming. So an amazing marathoner, and yet
she's pretty wimpy, just to do a marathon straight out.
Yeah, I know. And yet she struggles really to have a great run off the bike. And so, although yes, her swimming isn't her strength, her swim-bike combination is good enough if she could get her weapon of the run in place. And that's where the triathlon mystery is, and that's where the mental comes in, that's where the nutritional comes in. If Desiree can get her hands around that, the mental and the nutritional, she can have an amazing run. She is, on paper, the best runner in this race, and she just has to put that into practice this weekend.
Okay, Bree Wee from Hawaii. She's from the big island of Kona, and she raced and finished 2nd place in the 70.3 Honu just last month. So she's doing awfully well. Look out for Bree Wee, very, very strong swimmer and biker. And then over to Hillary Biscay. She's a Ford Ironman Wisconsin champion. Look out for Hillary, another fantastic swimmer. She'll be probably up there with Gina Crawford and Bree Wee, and so there'll be plenty of company up there in the early parts of the swimming event especially. Kelly Williamson's been having a good season as well in 70.3, and she's one of those girls that has been coming on of late. But Meredith Kessler from San Francisco, she's done a lot of Ironman races, and but not in the pro field. And when she turned pro, now it's all sort of happening for her. She got 2nd place in Ford Ironman St. George, and what a great run! Like coming home, we saw her just coming forward and making her way, ever so fast to the finish line. What are your thoughts on her?
Well, when she crossed the line in Utah, she was as surprised as the other competitors were. She said usually her run falls apart, and that's the typical scenario in an Ironman. Anyone can run a good half marathon, but it's the full Ironman. And she said she got to halfway and she got tired, but she pushed through. And that pushing through, that mental tenacity, got her across the finish line in 2nd. So she's now getting those results. She's starting to sniff victory as well. She's going to keep it interesting.
Okay, so you're talking about getting to the finish line. Our age group is here. We've got a fantastic age group competition, over 2,200 starters. They're going to be lining up at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning down here right at City Park, and we'll see them all get off into the water. Just a couple of little things about our age groupers, Lisa.
Well, Age group athletes, we've got some doing their very first Ironman, and it's pretty neat. There's some from Coeur d'Alene here that are doing their very first Ironman, and then we have other athletes who have watched the finish line, and they've seen the emotions that are surrounding the event, and then they come and they want to do it. And we have 2 of those athletes that are starting this weekend.
Yes, that's right. So I think that's a very good time to go over and listen to what Natalie Markowski from Coeur d'Alene had to say about doing her first Ironman right here in her hometown. She's 38 years old. Listen to this.
The camaraderie with the athletes is unbelievable. Everybody knows what you're going through. Everybody's working together. The support that everybody gives each other is amazing. I've met people from other states on the different tri-sites. Everybody's got tips and guidelines, and just they're right there to help you. And I just think, what other sport does that? Usually you're, trying to be against each other, and it's such a team feeling, but yet it's all about you and your hard work. So I love that. Great spirit.
And then we have Justin Lovett. He's 21 years old, and he's doing a second Ironman, but he was caught up in the excitement of the finish line. And he's here for number 2, very excited, loves the emotion. Let's hear from him.
It's the pinnacle of triathlon, I feel like, and I, first year I got into triathlon, I came down here, and it was 07, and with my dad, and we watched the pros finish, and so I stayed here from 10 to 12. And it's just such an awesome feeling. Even when you're watching it, it just gives you chills up your spine about the whole, just how people, how much the body goes through and how much people can take and finishing the whole thing. So.
Well, look out. If you watch the finish of an Ironman, you're probably going to be signing up for next year.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so it is beautiful around here. Enjoy the scenery. This age group section has been brought to you by Avon. So the scenery, get out there, enjoy it. The crowd, enjoy that as well. So that's my message. Just get out and enjoy the day. So act beautiful, smell beautiful, be beautiful. Avon. And on Thursday night, what a great night that was. We caught up with the Regents Kids Run. Take a look at this beautiful little clip.
There is about a couple hundred kids. You should be here and see the parents, how nervous they are when their little ones are running. The first question I got when I walked up tonight was, can I run with my kid? I don't know, can you?
The parents will find out soon enough.
11 and 12-year-olds in a little group right in front of me.
You can just feel the anticipation. So these kids are really excited about the race today, but what are they really excited about? 1, 2, 3. That's right, Ironman.
Taking him for a run, his first time. It's going to be awesome.
Bedlam. Total chaos is going to happen right here. Come sprinting out, make it around the first corner, and then some of them will pace well, some of them won't. And it'll have everybody walking back. A lot of fun, though.
Runners set, go! Be careful, baby!
This 1K race winds through Coeur d'Alene City Park.
Good job. That's really what it's about. They're really competing against themselves. It's a good, healthy thing for these kids, all of them. And the parents and grandparents, everybody that comes.
Even the tiny tots give it all they've got.
You're doing it. Good work. Keep going, keep going.
Just follow my little guy around. He's doing great. Ironman in training.
Oh, go, buddy, go, go, go. Come on, get that big guy. Look around. Go out.
It's all worth it when the kids get their medals. And a few treats, of course.
He actually wanted to run the whole thing on his own, so. Yeah, he knew he'd get French fries when he was done.
These kids are future Ironmen. Maybe sooner than you think.
I'm an Ironman.
Okay, so we've had a wonderful week. The kids had a great time out there, but the weather on Sunday is going to be absolutely brilliant. We're going to have really nice temperatures. We're going to have about mid-80s, Lisa, and low wind, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful out there. And the water temperature, 65 degrees right now. Perfect.
All those nature's elements, they're half the battle in an Ironman. So it's really nice when you're allowed to just go and swim 3.8 kilometers, bike 180 kilometers, and run a marathon, and without having all those difficulties brought on by weather. So the athletes will be very, very thankful for the weather that Coeur d'Alene is offering up.
Okay, so on Ironman.com on the weekend, we've got a lot of shows happening. We've got Nice, we've got Buffalo Springs, we've got Ford Ironman Coeur d'Alene. There's lots of things happening. So join us on Sunday morning, 6:15 Pacific Standard Time is when we're going to be cranking it up. 6:25 is when the professional athletes get underway. 7 o'clock in the morning, the age groupers will then follow our pros out onto the course here in northern Idaho. It's going to be fantastic, so stay tuned for all the action on Sunday morning. And also we've got some big announcements on new races going to be happening in the 2011 season. So make sure that you stay tuned, because all of those announcements you do not want to miss out on. And if they are announcements for new races, you might want to sign up too. Okay, for Lisa Bentley, I am Greg Welch. This show has been brought to you by Ford. Drive one.